Did you know there was a day the world almost went silent? A day the sky turned red, the oceans boiled with fear, and humanity's breath became thinner with every passing moment. It's not written in most history books, it's not taught in schools, but it happened. A single event that reduced the human race to a whisper. A near extinction that almost erased everything we know. Yet somehow, against all odds, we survived. This is the story of that forgotten day. The day humanity almost vanished from the face of the earth, and nobody talks about it. 74,000 years ago, long before kingdoms and civilizations, before the written word or the first city walls, our world was alive with tribes, fire, and hope. Humanity was young then, fragile, yet filled with wonder. Our ancestors lived close to nature, following the seasons, the rains, and the stars. The air was clean, the oceans were wide, and the forests seemed endless. For hundreds of thousands of years, they roamed the earth in peace. But one morning, everything changed. Far across the lands of what is now Indonesia, a mountain trembled. It was no ordinary mountain. It was a sleeping giant, known today as Toba. Beneath its surface, a pressure so vast was building that no creature on earth could imagine its power. Then, without warning, it woke. The mountain exploded with a force so great it tore open the sky. The sound could be heard across continents. Lava poured like rivers of fire, and clouds of ash raced into the heavens, spreading faster than any storm in history. The earth darkened. Day turned into night. The sun vanished behind a wall of ash and dust. For weeks, the world lay beneath a ceiling of death, a black cloud that blocked the sun's light and poisoned the air. Temperatures plummeted. Rain turned to acid. Crops died. The earth itself seemed to hold its breath. Our ancestors, scattered in small tribes, watched their world crumble. The animals fled, the rivers turned gray, and the land that once gave them life began to starve them. What followed wasn't just days or months of suffering, it was years. A volcanic winter began, a global night that would last for nearly a decade. The number of surviving humans dropped to less than a few thousand. Entire tribes vanished without a trace. Scientists call this event the Toba catastrophe. But for those who lived through it, there were no names, only fire, hunger, and silence. In caves and forests, small groups of humans fought to stay alive. They huddled together, sharing the last of their food, protecting the children, and praying for a sunlight that never came. Many did not make it, but some did. And from those few, the entire human race was reborn. It is believed that every person alive today carries the blood of those who survived that terrible winter. Imagine the fear of watching your world disappear. The rivers you drank from turning to poison. The skies you looked to for warmth, now offering only darkness. And the silence, a silence so deep that even the wind seemed afraid to move. Humanity had never faced such despair. But somewhere, deep within, something ancient awoke. A will to live. It wasn't power or tools or strength that saved us. It was the heart. The human heart that refuses to surrender. Even when the earth turned against them, they kept going. They shared what little they had. They followed the faint light of fire through the endless dark. And slowly, after years of blackened skies, the ash began to fall away. The sun returned, weak and pale at first, but real. Grass began to grow again. The rivers cleared, the air warmed, and humanity stepped back into the light. But something had changed forever. Those who survived carried within them a memory, a silent warning passed down through time. The world can end, not through war or hate, but through the breath of the earth itself. Centuries passed. The story faded into legend. The survivors became the ancestors of all who came after, farmers, kings, thinkers, and dreamers. But even as civilizations rose and fell, the memory of that dark time lived on in whispers. Across the world, in nearly every culture, there are ancient myths of fire from the sky, endless nights, and great floods. Many think these are only stories, but perhaps they are echoes of that day, a distant human memory buried deep within our blood. Every legend of a lost world, every story of rebirth, might come from the same truth, the day the earth almost ended us. Even today, the scar of that explosion remains. The Toba caldera, now filled with a tranquil lake, is quiet. But beneath it still rests the same power that once nearly erased all life. Scientists believe the Toba eruption was one of the largest volcanic events in the last 2 million years. The eruption released billions of tons of ash, spreading across continents and covering lands thousands of miles away. It was more powerful than any weapon we have ever created, more devastating than any war. And yet, humanity survived. This survival reshaped us. The struggle forced our ancestors to adapt, to work together, to innovate. It may have even changed our DNA. By reducing our numbers so drastically, it created a genetic bottleneck that scientists can still see in our blood today. In a way, that near extinction made us who we are. We became a species that doesn't give up, a species that rises again and again, no matter how dark the night becomes. But the question remains, have we forgotten the lesson? Because the Earth has not stopped breathing. Deep below us, volcanoes still sleep. Above us, asteroids still drift. And the delicate balance that keeps us alive is thinner than we wish to believe. The day humanity almost went extinct wasn't just a story of the past. It is a warning for the future. If such a day came again, if the skies darkened once more, would we be ready? Would we stand together as our ancestors did? Or would we vanish without a trace, remembered only as another whisper in the soil? Perhaps that is why no one talks about it. Because deep down, humanity fears the truth, that survival is never guaranteed. Yet, there is beauty in that truth, because from near extinction came life, growth, and civilization. From darkness came understanding, and from fear came unity. We stand here today not because we were the strongest, but because we were the most determined to keep going. Every breath we take, every sunrise we see, is a victory against the silence that once almost claimed us all. When we look into the mirror of history, we aren't just looking at the past. We are looking at the proof that even when the world collapses, humanity can rise again. So remember this. There was a day when humanity almost vanished, a day when the sky burned and the earth froze, a day that tested the very meaning of life itself. But we survived, and because of that, every story, every dream, every heartbeat continues. The next time you look up at the stars, remember, we are the children of survivors. We were never meant to exist, yet here we are. That is the miracle of humanity. That is the story the world forgot. If this story moved you, remember that history is not just written in books, it is written in our blood. There are stories buried deep in time that shaped who we are. Subscribe for more hidden truths and forgotten histories that reveal how close we came to losing everything and how powerful survival truly is. Thanks for watching.